and 1340 KROS.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Mill Creek Crossing Connection, brought to you by Dan Dolan and Dan Dolan Homes. Here in studio, we have Dwight Wheelan with us this morning. And good morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
Good to see you again, as I know progress has been ongoing for a new home they're building out there.
Oh, there's a lot of hammering going on. The framer's through, but now the plumbers and the electricians are very active over there and have been for several days, so it won't be too long till they'll be out of the way and the drywall can come along. But we want to get all of the plumbing and electrical work done behind the drywall that we can, and that's what they're working on now. Now, this house is on Connor Court.
Okay.
It's a 3-bedroom, 3-car garage. It's somewhat a new design for out here because of the 3rd bedroom on the main level, but it'll be a nice one to show. And as soon as we can get some heat and everything in there, Mary will probably still be the hostess at the open houses, and so it's coming along. But you know, something we've failed to talk about for some time is the financing.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, when people move to town from the country, or they buy a new house and they've lived in one for a long time, they could get sticker shock.
Mm.
And if someone's over 62 years old, of course they can always get a 30-year loan at the bank. But if they don't want house payments, they can also consider the reverse mortgage. That has worked for people out there. I don't know of anyone that has used a reverse mortgage in Mill Creek Crossing has been disappointed.
Okay.
So that is a good option because, you know, inflation has set in. At one time we saw the lumber and other materials take a real big jump. Even if it has eased somewhat, you don't see that in the price. It seems like once something meets a new high, goes up, that is the new high.
Right.
It doesn't come down as fast as it went up. We see that in gas prices today too, major jumps, and we can only remember those days when gas was $1.50, something like that, a gallon, and that affects the price of everything. But if someone wants to consider that, and it isn't for everyone,
Right.
and people are confused with the reverse mortgage. They think it's something where they get a check each month. Well, if you use a reverse mortgage for buying a home, the advantage is you don't have a house payment.
Okay.
So if people want to move to town and or change homes, that's one way to eliminate a house payment. And I've talked to a lot of people that came out there and looked, and they said, but, you know, I've got this payment. Well, this is one way that you can wipe that payment out.
And I know Dan's talked about this in the past, is one of the misnomers about the reverse mortgage is that somehow you don't own the home, but you still own the home. It's your home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's in your name. And I've had people say, oh, well, Dolan wants these homes back. No, it doesn't come to Dan Dolan. People have the right to sell it, to leave it to their kids, and the kids say, well, I don't want it. They can sell it. But there's a lot of advantages. I used a reverse mortgage when we bought a home out there. I took the equity out of the house and did a lot of other things that I wanted to do with that equity. And things that will be a long-lasting memory I was able to do. So it isn't for everyone, but a person certainly needs to sit down and listen. It's quite different than what you see on TV,
Right.
because that program is designed to get a reverse mortgage on your home and get a monthly check.
Oh, okay.
And they're talking about if you don't want to sell your home, you want to just mortgage it to use a reverse mortgage to get a monthly check to add to your income. Well, the way that I feel it's most advantageous is to not have a home payment.
Right.
That's the same as getting a pay raise. If you can liquidate, today to buy a home, it's not unusual for home taxes and insurance. It's over $1,000 a month.
Right.
Well, that in itself would keep a lot of people from wanting to change homes. But anyway, we'd talk to you about it. We don't have anything to do with the sale of the home, reverse mortgage, but we have dealt with a fellow for, I guess, 6 or 7 years now. He represents United of Omaha, and once we make the introduction, we bow out of it, and it's just up to the person that writes the mortgages and the person that buys.
Well, that is, great to know, because I know there's been so much in the, just out there about reverse mortgages, and people have a lot of opinions about it, and not so favorable or nice opinions. A lot of people think it's, not, but as you said, it's not for everybody. But if you're in that over 62 and it, it could fit for you, it could be something at least to take a look at.
That's right. It's the same as looking for financing somewhere else.
Right.
And it doesn't make any difference to Dan. I've always said Dan would take gold, silver, rubles. I don't know whether he takes them anymore or not, and Confederate money. He doesn't want any more of that. So, but Dan gets out of it once the house is sold.
Right.
And I've told the story to a lot of people, and a lot of people have used the reverse mortgage after they understand it. I've had people get right in my face and, yeah, Dolan wants the houses back. No, he doesn't. Dan, what would Dan do with it? And so we've had several houses out there resell. At one time here recently, I think we had 4 for sale, and now there's none. So people are taking a look at them and in the secondary market and buying them and joining the neighborhood. We just accidentally ran into a lady the other day, and I'd never seen her before. I asked her which house she was in. She told me, and we made a new friend that day. But this home that he's building now, it'll be to a point before long where you drop by. Well, we'll be happy to show it to you, even before he has open houses, because I live right behind the house. If someone wants to come around the corner and knock on the door, I'll be happy to go over and walk through it with them now.
Okay. No, that's a great idea, because if folks are interested, again, you're new enough on the ground level that if there are some input you want to make into it, they can still do that before they kind of set in with the way they're going to do it. But, it sounds like this home is really incorporating a lot. I mean, every time he builds a new home, he's incorporating new things that people want, and it just seems like it gets more and more popular, doesn't it?
And makes an awful lot of us envious.
Yeah, that's right. If you bought a It's kind of like the iPhone, you know. If you got an iPhone 1 and people are up to iPhone 16 now, you're like, well, I still have the iPhone 1.
Yeah, I bought my house in 11, and I've seen so many changes, and every one of them has been for the best.
Yeah.
So if you want to drop by, come by and take a look. Some people have already stopped and walked through the house.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you that if anybody has done that. So.
But you and I have talked about this quite often too. But now's the time to say I want that wall moved, because I want this bigger. I want it moved and make a office out of it or something like that. Now's the time to let that be known, instead of waiting and you have to take down plasterboard and stuff like that to move a wall.
And obviously, I'm assuming that, you know, if they're going to make changes to fit your specs, that you've then purchased the home.
Yes.
You're not just going to walk in and say, move this over there, and then not buy it.
That's right. No,
yeah.
It's their home, and they tell Dan what they want. And I've seen some requests I thought were out of this world, and they and Dan have gotten together, and it's worked real well.
Well, that is great. Great to hear. Well, Dwight, we thank you for stopping in again and being our guest on today's Mill Creek Crossing. Again, if they have any questions, they can always contact
Dan, Kevin, or give me a call.
Okay.
One of us will, or if it's a question about a change, I'll refer them to Dan or Kevin.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks again for dropping in on today's Mill Creek Crossing, and good day there, Dwight.
Thank you. Same to you.
Mill Creek Crossing, brought to you by Dan Dolan and Dan Dolan Homes, comes your way every Wednesday morning at this time here on KROS.
This is AM 1340 KROS Radio, Clinton.
And FM 105.9.